locally, our corn here in Michigan looks absolutely incredible. I don't know if it is. I'm not a farmer. I don't know any corn farmers. But the plants are massive. And we've probably had just about the right amount of rain and sunlight or sunshine. Over the course of the summer so far. I know a fair number of farmers, YouTube farmers down south, sort of North Carolina area, their corn is looking incredibly sad. And their grass isn't looking good either, which is bad when you have a bunch of cows that are going to need food during the winter. When you can't actually produce hay to feed them. Tom Pemberton's had a lot of that problem as well. The grass this year has been horrible. It's rained too much, so actually getting heavy equipment into the fields and not creating giant ruts and not nice luscious piles of cut grass has been a problem for him this year. I think for the most part I'm doing... There is a little bit of leeway at the edge of the spread area. So that little patch to our left right there, that's not going to result in much in the way of it, considering that area not being limed. It's just that the pixel drawing hasn't filled in the gaps. Okay, that's good. In other news, I've still been looking. I monitor PC prices, and what I would like to get is now down below $2,000. So come Christmas we might be closer to 1600. The problem I've discovered is apparently the 13th and 14th generation Intel chips have an huge bug, which something along the lines of they can end up with voltage issues which burns out the chip and permanently degrades their performance. So if you're buying a processor that you expect to perform at a good level, and in my case for potentially up to 7 years, what I don't want is one that in 2 years' time the performance is noticeably degraded because the chips become permanently damaged. I also found out that the 14th generation processors, the motherboards that are currently available for them are that's it. Oops, that one. This will be the last processor that will fit on the current generation of motherboards. The next generation of motherboards probably won't be released until the 15th generation. So even if I wanted to, there would be no upgrade path for a PC that I buy today, short of you can stick more hard drives in it, you can stick more memory in it, but your processor is your processor, and you're not going to get anything better. So I've been taking a look at AMD. AMD, the current motherboards are very new, so likely to have a couple of generations of processor upgrades, but they are DDR5 only, whereas the current batch of Intel motherboards, you can buy DDR4 or DDR5. Well, if you buy a DDR4, you can get quite a budget machine. The motherboard is capable, the processor is capable. You're limited. You're running slightly slower memory, but it's a good, solid contender. If you want to go DDR5 RAM, you've got to pay a little bit more for the motherboard. But with the AMD Ryzen chips, you don't have an option. You have to go with the DDR5 now. So that makes their starting point a little bit more pricey, although the processor is cheaper than the equivalent Intel, and marginally less capable. However, I've looked at, my benchmark has been City Skylines 2. And no matter what, 14th generation Intel or a AMD Ryzen 7700, both are recommended, and actually exceed recommendations for playing City Skylines 2, and obviously, more importantly, Farming Simulator 25. So I may look at going back to AMD, something I haven't done for 26 years. I did upgrade my old Pentium back in about 1998. I decided I'd go with the AMD K7 because it was cheaper, better performing, and just all round good. And then when I moved to America, we bought a good entry-level PC that would see us through sort of browsing the internet, watching movies, and playing simple games. I've been stuck with Intels ever since then, but I don't mind AMD if it comes to it. But whereas an Intel, I think I'm looking Intel i7, 13th or 14th generation, comes in under $2,000. The AMD Ryzen 7700 comes in at tens of dollars over 2,000, so about $100 more for similar specification. But as I said, the PC I have at the moment is doing fine. It will run Farming Simulator 22 and stream it at the same time. It'll run Railroader, no problems, and stream it at the same time, and we're out of stuff. And so I don't intend to replace this while I'm where we're at with the games I'm playing. But as soon as Farming Simulator 25 comes out, I think, borderline minimum requirements, which means I'm gonna have to play on what would it be? I would have to play on sort of medium graphical specifications rather than high or ultra. and then probably not be able to stream it either. So for that, I can buy Farming Simulator 25. I can dabble in it, but I wouldn't be able to stream any of my dabbling, and I'd be a little bit stuck. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, it takes a while for a good map to come out, so I'm okay with probably buying Farming Simulator 25, installing it on this system, just dabbling around, see what's available. See what you can do, see, you know, explore the new stuff, in essence. And then later I can, oh yeah, let's drive up the hedge. That was kind of impressive. But come sort of springtime, I'm definitely going to need to strongly consider a new PC at that point. That was the wrong button. Let's do that one. But we'll see how that works out. Oh, we did get the contractor in this week. He replaced the... we had just a horrible mess of water pipes in the basement. It's just like, I want the water to go from point A to point B, but it looked like one of those puzzle games where you join the pipes up, and it was just... Who thought this morass of pipes was a good idea? Because you couldn't isolate any single part of it, because you turn one of the taps off at one place, but the water's getting down another pipe that doesn't have a tap on it, so you couldn't turn off the house supply, because there was always a way for the water to get to the house, even if you turned off most of the taps. The only option was to turn off where the water comes into the house. That was it. That was the only isolator. So now we've got a new house filter, which is quite impressive, and the drinking water to the refrigerator and the drinking water tap on the sink in the kitchen now have their own filter, and I wanted that downstairs. I didn't want it upstairs, because if you install it on the sink, you have to crawl underneath to change the filter, and I'm getting to the sort of age where I don't want to be crawling underneath anything if I can avoid it. So he stuck that down there as well. There is now a tap to isolate the whole house supply, so I can just turn the water off there and the house is isolated. And there's also a drain there that once I've isolated the house supply, I can drain the house supply into a bucket in the basement without having to go upstairs and open all the faucets. And so he removed all of the crazy pipe work and the wooden frame that the pipe work was attached to. There was a sink in the basement which runs to the sump pump, but the sump pump runs to the sewer pipe, which it's not supposed to. So we had that sink removed. He did add another, no, he didn't add anything else. We've now got a large sediment trap on the water feed as well, so we can trap and remove any gunk that comes in to the house from the mains. So definitely a big upgrade. Didn't really cost that much money. And we also got the faucet at the back of the house on the deck now works, and he's rotated it so we can now actually use it. The problem is we're living in a manufactured home, so all of the water faucets front and back on the exterior of the house are very close to the ground, which is okay at the front because obviously it's built on a basement and the faucet sits a good 2 foot off the ground, so you can attach a hose to it. You could fill a watering can from it or whatever. But at the back of the house we have a deck, and so the faucet is about 10 inches above the deck, which makes it, one, difficult to use because you have to bend over, and two, you can't fit a watering can underneath it to fill up. So we've had to go into the kitchen to fill up. I'm also pretty sure it wasn't connected either, so it's now connected to the water supply. It's the outlet is on the side, so you can actually put a hose on it, and theoretically I could run a hose down to the deck. And now Mrs. Osa's been saying, oh, I want to get a pressure washer, well, we could now do that because we have a water supply in the backyard. So maybe that'll become a thing. But that now clears up the entire front of the basement is now cleared up. So when the drainage people are ready, October, or if they get a cancellation sooner, they can just come in and the area they want to work is completely clear, and we'll see where we go from there. Building train stuff's a little bit tricky because I've got, on the front of the house, I've got all of the stuff that should be on the wall is leaned up against the benches, so I can't actually get to them easily. However, we seem to have run out of lime again. I can work on the other side, so I could work on half of it, and then do the other half after October. I'm going to try and figure something out so I can at least get my two loops done. I'm going to need some cabling to run power to the tracks. But once that's all done, we should be in a good state to actually play trains. And the section at the back of the house, I could start doing... I can start doing things. Do not want 59,000 litres. 5,000 is probably sufficient. But yeah, I can start doing scenery on the side at the back of the house. Which is what I want to do anyway, because that's going to be very simplistic. It's going to be the cheapest side, because all I'm going to be doing is fields of sheep and maybe some cows. Country lanes and possibly a small station for passengers. It's not going to have any freight facilities. It's just going to be a little... I may change my mind on that, but currently I think it's just going to be a short platform. It's close enough to what's going to be the main station. Oops, that I don't envisage trains stopping there to drop off things. Most people will either go to the main town, or there will be local vendors in the village who go to town to buy products. Okay, that's done. Fold that up. So, all the liming is done. Yay me. As I said, we're not going to fertilise well, no, we are going to fertilise all of those fields, but maybe not today, especially since the rain is imminent. Midday, it's going to rain. So we'll get this washed off, emptied and washed off, and we can put this away. I am going to need the John Deere. I might be able to spray tomorrow. Okay. That is what it is. But I'm done with this for the year. We could probably a good plan to service the Breedle. Since we're not going to be doing anything with that until spring. Breedle, Breedle. Yes, back. And jump in. So that's serviced, that's now mostly clean. We'll clean the tractor too. Yay. Stick that back over there. Ate well. I'm not sure if there's a way to get solid containers to unload into this like we can with the liquids. This will be fine. There we go. So that was expensive. That was about $20,000 of pounds of lime. Boop, done. Okay. Let's go put this away. And I will go and check on the silage compression. So the other Breedle is a little bit easier because it's bigger. 2 axles, just less flighty when you're trying to reverse it. But that's now in place, that's all good. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Boop. So I'll run over, put this away. And really, with the weather that we're seeing the last few days, we get a couple of hours first thing in the morning and then we're really done. There you go. Let's jump out and see where we're at. Oh, we're at 69%. How's this all looking? There's a big hole there. And there's a whole ton of stuff down here. And you are definitely having an issue. But I bought that so I could do the leveling with the wheel loader. Unfortunately, the wheel loader doesn't play.